screen.
Great.
Okay. So welcome everybody to the fourth session of the MELA Committee on Cataloging's workshop series on cataloging Middle Eastern non-book materials using RDA and MARC21. I'm Denise Sufi, Chair of the Committee on Cataloging, and I'll be the moderator for this session. Today, our presenter, Cyrus Zarganj, will provide an introductory overview of cataloging electronic resources using RDA standards and the MARC21 format. He'll cover cataloging electronic resource formats, such as electronic books, electronic journals, streaming media, electronic collections, websites, and databases. Cyrus is the Special Formats Catalog Librarian and Associate Professor at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas Libraries. He has worked in cataloging, media, and technical services for over 22 years. He performs original, descriptive, and subject cataloging for all special formats materials. He also provides training and mentoring to junior catalogers and assists in resolving complex special format cataloging problems. Cyrus brings much expertise to today's topic, and we are fortunate to have him with us. Before we begin, a few housekeeping notes. All participants are muted. Please feel free to submit questions at any time in the chat. We will have time for Q&A at the end of the presentation, as well as live discussion. However, Cyrus would be happy to answer brief questions to clarify a point during the presentation. This workshop is being recorded, and the recording will be posted on the MELA YouTube channel. The slides and the link to the recording will be posted on the Committee on Cataloging website. Now I'll turn it over to you, Cyrus.
I thank you, Denise, for moderating the Zoom meeting today, and thank you everybody for attending. So this is our final non-book material workshop series session that focuses on cataloging electronic resources. In this workshop, we will only discuss the specifications of electronic resources rather than all the MARC fields that are common with other formats. If you attended our streaming video workshop, you may notice some common elements here, as the streaming media is also part of electronic resources. And yes, electronic resources can be classified as either monographs or continuing resources. Continuing resources are further divided into serial and integrating resources. Integrating resources, as defined by AACR2, include updating websites, databases, and loose-leaf publications. AACR2 described integrating resources as a bibliographic resource that is added to or changed by means of updates that do not remain discrete and are integrated into the resource as a whole. And integrating resource may be finite or continuing. And for electronic resources, we use provider neutral and provider neutral versus non-provider neutral. It is recommended to follow the provider neutral guidelines for cataloging electronic resources. Libraries can add their local specifications for these records in their own library catalog. Here is a URL link to provider neutral guidelines by the Program for Cooperative Cataloging, or PCC. We also add a subfield E with PN to the field 040 to show that the record is provider neutral and that every institution can use it for copy cataloging with minimum editing. And this is an example of ebooks, of an ebook that I got it from our catalog. So as you see on the left side, you see the book from Amazon, and right side is in our catalog, accessed through our catalog, and that's an ebook that you can download or you can just read it online. And we're talking about cataloging the ebook and electronic resources. So the RDA core elements for electronic resources are title proper, creators of e-resource, if any, statement of responsibility, which is subfield C of field 245, edition statement or field 250, publication statement or field 264, subfield A, B, and C, series statement, that is field 490 in combination with an 8xx field, identifier for the manifestation, for example, ISBN, language of the item, content type or field 336, carrier type or field 338, uniform resource locator or 856 field, and LCPCC requires more core elements, of course. So this is what are core for us. And then let's go to talk about the leader and fixed fields. So for electronic resources, we use specific codes. They are like, you may see some common codes with streaming videos, but this is much more expanded. So for type or type of record, A is for, these are examples, A for electronic books, G for projected medium or visual, I for non-musical sound recording, J for musical sound recording, and so on. B, LVL or bibliographic level, M for monograph, I for integrating resource, S for serial, and so on for this one too. And DESC or descriptive cataloging form, I for ISBD punctuation. And these are based on OCLC terms. Then MARC08, it's different between monographs, visual materials, and continuing resources. So these are what you may see like in other formats up to some point. DTSD or type of date, dates, CTRY or country for place of publication in the 264 field subfield A, language or LANG, audience, AUDN, time for running time of only the feature content, form. So for form, we use O for online resource, Q for direct electronics such as tangible resource, for example, for CD or DVD disks and flash drives, and S was an older code for electronics. By the way, we will post this also in our website, and these are all clickable. So if you click any of them, you can open that page and see the whole page that is from OCLC, of course. And so, yes. TMAT or type of visual material, TEC for technique, SL for entry convention. For example, we use number 2 for integrated entry, and for original form of original item, ORIG, for example, we use O for online, and SRTP for type of continuing resource. For example, we use D for updating databases, and so on. So also, yeah, you may click on any link that you may wish to let's see. All right, let's go to the next page. So the next one is MARC006, fixed length data element, additional material characteristics for computer file and electronic resource. We may use these codes. Position 00 form of material, and we may use A for language material or for text in electronic form, M for computer file, and all electronic resources, etc. And for position 6, we may use form of item O for online. And for position 9, as for file, we may use D for document or textual file, C for representational, pictorial or graphic data, for example, moving image, still image, and cartographic material, and H for sounds. Then we get to 007, that and you also, okay, on the last page also, you can consult LOC page, Library of Congress page for all these codes for MARC06 and MARC07 here. So we may use subfield A for category of materials, and here we use C for electronic resource, subfield B for a specific material designation, we use R for remote, and subfield D for color, A for one color, B for black and white, C for multicolored, and M for mixed, and subfield E for dimensions. Here we have N for non-applicable, and subfield F for sound, A for sound, and U for unknown. There is a second 007 field for video recording, and since we discussed it in the previous workshop, I won't bring it up here. Now we have elements for electronic resources. So you may see these fields on any electronic resource record very often, and that's good to keep them in one place. So for example, 247, if we have integrating resource, we may add a 247 for sound characteristics to 344, 347 for digital file characteristics. But these two fields, we talked about them also for streaming videos. 506 for restriction on access, 538 for equipment or system requirement, 540 for terms governing use and reproduction note, 588 source of title and or date of viewing note, and 856, which is the most important one, for URL. And we will discuss all of them here. So preferred source of information, you can use a website that contain a URL link to streaming media you're cataloging, or to the e-resource that you're cataloging. I have an example here. Let me bring it up. Yeah, this is something. This is an electronic collection. Tad and I, we cataloged it a couple of weeks ago. Okay, so Denise, do you see this web page here?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, good. Yeah, so this is an example of like an electronic collection. What I wanted to show you is, so you have the title here, Gale one file agriculture, but sometimes you don't see like the title or the title that you're looking for. One way to find the title is to go to the source of the page. So you right click on the page, and then you click on view page source, and then another page is opened, which is the HTML part of the page, and they usually they have the title of the page here somewhere, like usually on the first part at the top of the page. So here you
Excuse me,
see,
Cyrus. I'm sorry, we
yes.
had a request if you could make the font larger.
Okay,
Guess
let me.
some people are having
Oh
difficulty seeing
yeah,
it on
this
their
is too.
screens.
Yes. Yeah, now it's better. Good. Is it good, Denise?
It looks good to me. I can
Okay.
see it there.
Yeah, so yeah, that the top of the page you see just like for HTML codes, you would see like a beginning of title like this in brackets and the end of title with a slash. So the title should be here if you don't find it on the web page. So here you see that that's the title, and you may want to use this if you don't find that title on the website. So this is like another way to find the website title or database electronic collection. Yeah, that was and but this one, unfortunately, it has like the title on it. But you may see many websites, they just like don't use the full title, or they use just like, I don't know, acronyms, things like that. Anyway, okay, let's go back to our slides. So for streaming media, you use title frame or frames as the preferred source of information, or title screen or screens. The Mark 27 247 is for former title um, uh, or title proper change. Update the title, that's what we use for integrating resources. Update the title or to reflect to the current iteration of an integrating resource if there is a change in the title during a subsequent iteration. And you may find more information in RDA 2.3.2.12.3. And subfield F is used for date or sequential designation. By the way, like in other slides, you may see like the RDA reference at the top in bracket. So if you need to consult RDA, you may use those numbers for every page that we already saw, that you may use those RDA numbers. So an example here is 247, subfield A, British Columbia Economic Time, and subfield F is for the date that was covered. So then probably they change the title other times, and then you have it in 245, and you also 247 is repeated field. You can repeat it if there is need for more than one title. 264 for production, publication, distribution, manufacture, and copyright note, which is RDA 2.7 to 2.11. It's um, it looks familiar with other formats, but sometimes you may use a different way. Like the first line that you see here, we use subfield 3 to bring the date that is covered here, and then subfield A for place of publication, and then subfield B for publisher. This is for the same page that you just saw for Gale one file agriculture. And then next one is for like a moving image, Sony Picture Home Entertainment. And then the third one is for an item that you don't have place of publication, that we use place of publication not identified and publisher not identified. And then copyright date and distribution field if you need any of them. So it's mostly similar to other formats. Then field 300 for physical description. Um, uh, it describes the extent of electronic resources. The file type and extension come in parentheses. Subfield B is used for other details such as illustrations, maps, sound, and color. And these two examples that you see here, the first one is for an ebook that you write it like this, one line resource, and parenthesis is for the file type or extension, that 2,115 pages, and then subfield B for color, maps, and etc. And then the second one is for a streaming video. It contains a video file and the duration of the video file and sound, color, black and white, etc. Then These three fields replaced AACR2's GMD or General Material Designation. For electronic resources cataloging, we use these three fields. So not necessarily always these three fields, and you can have access with these URLs to other if you need to use other 336, 7, or 8. So what we have here is 336 for text and 337 for computer. It could be computer disk, which is the other one, and then 338 online resource. So our career should be online resource since we have electronic resource. Mm. Then the next one is 334 sound characteristics. And we talked about this in streaming videos too. So subfield A for type of recording and subfield G for configuration of playback channel. Also add subfield 2 for the source of the term. And here we have digital and stereo. And 347, we talked some part of it about some part of it in the streaming videos, but not all. So here also we use 347 very often for digital file characteristics. For example, if we have a PDF file and we are cataloging, as you see, like we use 347 subfield B PDF. So you may access the RDA explanation by the numbers that you see in front of them. It's in RDA 3.19 and yeah, so we have file type, encoding format, file size, and encoded bit rate. And yeah, the first four ones they are for streaming videos, and then we may see for ebooks, text file, 347 text file, a PDF, 347 PDF or HTML or 256 kilobyte, and so on. 506 is for restrictions on access notes. 506 is not recommended following the PCC provider neutral guidelines. So please do not record the 506 field for the provider neutral records and record them only in the local catalog. So examples that we have here are 506 access requires authentication through strong motion pictures, and the other one content restricted to subscribers. Yeah, let's go to the next slide and then I explain about 532. So 538 is for system requirements. Like, for example, if you have an Adobe, you have a PDF file, you may use Adobe Acrobat Reader. You may see 530 notes sometimes in the records, but 530 note for the additional physical form is an optional note for your local catalog. It reads like this: issued also as a video disc or issued also as print. But be careful with this optional note, because if, for example, you don't have the DVD format of the film or the print version of the ebook in your library, users expect that you own it. So a better option is field 776. It is another optional field to link to the non-electronic version, and it is a better option than 530 if you want to use it. And we talk about 776 later here. Oh, okay, sorry. Then the next field that we may need is 540 for rights statement or terms governing use and reproduction note. So here we have 540 restricted copying allowed only to non-profit organizations. Okay, this is the 588 and a source of description node. So this is an important node that we can use on all electronic resources. And at the top, I'm showing like where you can find RDA information about each part of it. About data viewing of an online resource, you can use RDA 2.17.13.5. For title source, you can use RDA 2.17.2.3. So examples of these 588 field we have here are title from homepage viewed on October 30th, 2024, or we may only have viewed on October 30th, 2024. This is important because sometimes like users may go to a website, an ebook, PDF website, whatever database, and it's not available. They may see that 404 alert, 404 note or something else. So that's good that they know that when the cataloger viewed it the last time. And so if it is like very old, that might have been like because like the vendor changed the URLs or something happened, then they can pursue what happened. Also, the catalogers and the electronic resources department, they can pursue what happened by seeing the note that it was cataloged, the date that it was cataloged. So for a streaming video, also we use description based on online resource title from title screen and the date that it was viewed online. And this is the 776 that I was talking about. So additional physical form entry, you can find more information in RDA 24.4.3 and 27.1. So this is like, I got this 776 from one of the records we merged. Our committee started like merging records for OCLC, and we also look at the 776 field when we merge, if we're merging an electronic resource. So this 776 is for a print version. So like you have an ebook and with the same title, or maybe even title would be a little bit different, but usually same title. So you add the 776 for print version. The title is here, Encyclopedia of Muslim American History. And then the publisher, the date of publishing, then you have the ISBN, and you have the DLC number in subfield W, and you also have OCLC number in subfield W. So whatever information you have available, you can add. You may not have all of them. So if you don't have a DLC number, so you don't add that subfield W for DLC. But this is very useful because you can compare if they are this they can users can have access to the print version or vice versa. If you are on a print version and you have the ebook, you may add this, and that would bring up the place, the location, the record, the OCLC number, everything that someone may need to know. So this is a very, very useful field that we may add to our electronic resource records. Then our 856, the uniform resource locator, which is the URL for our electronic resource that is necessary. It is the way that we can find the e-resource. For provider neutral record, whenever possible, use a direct URL link. You may supply the provider's name in subfield 3. Do not use subfield Z, which is specific for institutions. You may use subfield Z in your local catalog. Do not include proxy URLs since they are specific for institutions. Again, use it for your local catalog only. So I have this example that you see here, it is for local catalog, but when you catalog for provider neutral for everybody in OCLC. The first easy proxy usually should not be included, and it starts from the second HTTPS or HTTP. Then subfield Z also is for your local catalog. You may add anything you may like, online access or view streaming video online, or whatever node that you may want to add. And if you may use subfield 3 to supply the provider's name, if it is okay for provider neutral. So that's a better way to have it. So this way, like sometimes you go to OCLC and you see like 10, 15 URLs because every institution has added one 856 that connects to their catalog. And then if someone clicks on them, they should go to their catalog and they should have username, password to get in. So that's not useful for everybody. That's why they created these provided neutral, because this way, like there is only one URL and it might not work. Even if it might not work, probably it would give you some information about the URL of the vendor or the place that created that e-resource at the first point, and that's much better. So that way, if everyone follows provided neutral guideline, then you wouldn't see those many URLs that connects to nowhere. So for 856, use the second indicator 0 when the URL address is for the resource itself. Apply 1 when the URL address is for a version of the resource, and 2 when the URL address is for a related resource. Okay, next page is relationship designator RDA 18.5. MARC1 XX, 7XX, and RDA Appendix I and J. So this is like, this is good for like another way to bring like the people that it's usually good for streaming videos that you may see more credits, and you want to bring like the work as in a 700 field with the title of the work, like here, Appalachian Spring. Also, for example, like here, the first one is film director, and you don't have it. Usually you don't have 100 field for the creator for streaming videos because there are too many people that worked on that film. So, and you get more 700 fields. And then realtors, realtors, they are here. You may find them. This is a very useful link that yeah, it's so small, but that's good for the subfield E that you may use. Let me make it here again. Yes. And this would be very useful for the subfield E. For you may see like author a lot, like for subfield E in 100 field or 700 field, but the rest of them are all here. So like film director. You may click on that and find that. Yeah. Good. So we finished it early, but if you have any questions, we have plenty of time to answer. Denise, did we get any question in the chat?
No questions in the chat so far.
Okay, then so if there is no question, we can finish early and we prepare to vote tomorrow.
I see Magda has a question.
Sure.
Okay, thank you, Cyrus. Thank you so much. I have a
You're welcome.
question for you. Do you hear me first?
Yes, yes, yes. I
Oh,
hear you.
okay. So just a quick question about the cereals. So I don't think we covered much about the cereals, electronic resources for cereals. So uh, what are the things that we should really follow when we catalog e-resources,
Yeah,
cereals,
so yeah,
electronic
I just
cereals?
yes, I just mentioned a few items of that, like that 247. Um, uh, but cereals is just like a complete different story, and it has its own cataloging rules, and I believe that you need to the resource for that is Concert, but it's just like it has its own, and you may see a lot of serials, yes, and more integrating resources. That's why we talked more about integrating resources in serials. Uh, they have like many common fields with the print serials when you have
Mm.
like an electronic resource, and usually the basic part of it is the fields that we discussed here that you may
Yeah.
see in as addition to the serial record, but the other fields is just like you need to follow
Mm.
a serial cataloging rule. And yes, that's we didn't cover that, and it's a complete different story. But the specifications usually like the ones that you may need to add to a serial electronic resource. If you add just the fields that I showed you here, probably that would suffice, and it will cover like a big part of it.
Okay, thank you, Sai.
No problem.
So Cyrus, we have a comment and a question. So Tad McGuire said, very helpful, thank you. And
You're welcome.
Bhupek Amirazodi asks, how do you catalog when a print periodical publication continues as an electronic resource?
Yes, that's kind of like the same question that Magda asked. It is if it's continuing, it's either serial or integrating a resource. Um, so if it is integrating resource that I showed at the first page here, there are uh, examples of them of integrating resources or databases and websites. So yes, that the elements that you see usually, especially these um, like fixed fields, of course you may add, and then these fields you may see in all of them that would be used. So this is just like, we just discussed the specifications of electronic resources. We did not, I know that like a lot of serial and integrated resources, they are now they are online and you want to catalog them, but you need to mix this with those cataloging rules. Is not that just like we create like this workshop is not to show like how you catalog like a serial or integrating resource. Is just like the specifications that you would want to add, or when you see, you may notice that this is an electronic resource. I hope I answered the question. Yeah, you're welcome. And one more thing is like I have the RDA numbers here. That would be very useful if you and we will post all of these, and all these blue links they get into the websites that you may need. And the numbers, if you follow these numbers, you may find a lot of information about this, because RDA specifically, since AACR2 was not, when AACR2 was created, um, the electronic resources didn't exist, and even after they existed and they added revisions to AACR and AACR2, it was not enough. Then RDA covered a lot of electronic resources. That's why these numbers are important, because if you follow these RDA numbers, you get a lot of examples, many examples for electronic resources, and a lot of like very good information that you may find over there. Good. I believe that there is no more question, Denise.
Okay, so we will wrap this up.
Good. Thank you, everyone, for attending this presentation. And as Denise
Yes.
said at the beginning, it will be posted very soon.
Yes, thank you very much, Cyrus. This was a very highly informative workshop. And yes, the recording will be posted to the MELA YouTube channel, where it will be with all the other workshops presented by Cyrus for future reference. The link will be on the Committee on Cataloging website, and we'll also be posting the PDF of these slides on the Committee on Cataloging website. So thank you everyone for attending and for all your questions, and I wish you all a good day.
Thank you.